away from me, you filthy beggar!
In the bustling heart of Lagos, where the humid air carried the scent of street food and exhaust fumes, a young woman named Anita hurried through the crowded streets of Ikeja. It was one of those afternoons when the sky threatened rain, dark clouds gathering like uninvited guests at a party. Anita, a 28-year-old marketing executive with sharp cheekbones and a no nonsense attitude, honed from years of navigating the chaotic corporate world, clutched her designer handbag tightly. She had just closed a big deal at her office in Alausa, and her mind was racing with thoughts of celebration. A cold bottle of malt and maybe some suya from her favorite vendor. But fate, that tricky weaver of destinies, had other plans. As she turned a corner near the bustling computer village where vendors hawked gadgets and the air buzzed with haggling, an old beggar stepped right into her path. He was a frail figure, draped in tattered rags that once might have been a shirt and trousers, his face weathered, like the bark of an ancient Iroko tree. His eyes, milky with age, pleaded silently as he extended a trembling hand. Auntie, please, small change for food, he rasped, his voice barely audible over the honk of Danfo buses. Anita, already irritated from a long day and the impending downpour, felt a surge of annoyance. Get out of my way, she snapped, shoving past him, but in her haste her hand swung out, connecting with a sharp slap across his cheek. The sound echoed like a thunderclap in her ears. The beggar stumbled back, clutching his face, but said nothing, just stared at her with those piercing, sorrowful eyes. Instantly, regret washed over Anita like the first drops of rain. What had she done? This wasn't her, slapping an old man. Her heart pounded as she froze, the world around her blurring. Little did she know, this momentary act of cruelty would unravel her life in ways she could never imagine, pulling her into a web of ancient secrets, family curses, and redemption that spanned generations. As the rain began to pour, soaking her to the bone, Anita whispered an apology that the wind carried away. But it was too late. The beggar's shadow had already begun to follow her. That night, as Anita tossed in her bed in her modest apartment in Surulere, strange dreams plagued her. She saw the beggar not as a destitute old man, but as a regal figure in flowing agbada, his eyes glowing with otherworldly light. She woke up sweating, her phone buzzing with missed calls from her best friend Esther. Girl, you okay? You sounded off earlier, Esther's message read. Anita shook it off, attributing it to stress. But deep down, she knew something had shifted, like a door to the past had creaked open. The next morning, Lagos woke up to its usual frenzy. Anita, dressed in her power suit, a vibrant Ankara blouse paired with black slacks, and headed to work. The city was alive. Okada riders weaving through traffic, market women shouting prices for fresh tomatoes and yams, and a distant call of a muezzin blending with church bells. Anita loved this chaos. It mirrored her ambitious spirit. Born to a middle class family in Benin City, she had moved to Lagos 5 years ago, clawing her way up from an entry level job at a telecom firm to her current role. She was the epitome of the modern Nigerian woman, independent, driven, and unapologetic. But as she boarded a BRT bus, she felt eyes on her. Glancing around, she saw nothing unusual, just commuters buried in their phones, scrolling through Instagram reels of Afrobeat dances and motivational quotes. Yet the unease lingered. At work, during a team meeting, her boss praised her for the deal, but Anita's mind wandered. She kept replaying the slap, the beggar's flinch. Why did I do that? She muttered to herself during lunch, picking at her jollof rice. Esther, her colleague and confidant, noticed. Esther was the bubbly type, with curly hair extensions and a laugh that and could light up a room. Anita, what's eating you? You look like you saw a ghost. Over coffee, Anita confessed. I slapped this old beggar yesterday. It was an accident, sort of, but I feel awful. Esther waved it off. Lagos is tough, babe. People beg all the time. Shake it off. But Anita couldn't. That evening, walking home, she swore she saw the beggar again, lurking in the shadows of a flyover. Was he following her? As days passed, the incident escalated. Anita started noticing small things. Her keys going missing, only to reappear in odd places, whispers in the wind that sounded like her name, and nightmares where the beggar transformed into her late grandfather, whom she barely remembered. Her grandfather had died when she was 5, a mysterious figure her family rarely spoke about. Rumors whispered he was involved in traditional practices, juju some called it, but in modern Nigeria, who believed in that? One evening, after a particularly grueling day, Anita decided to unwind at a local bar in Victoria Island. The place was packed with young professionals sipping cocktails to the tune of Wizkid's latest hit. She met a charming guy named Tunde, a banker with a dazzling smile. They flirted, exchanged numbers, and for a moment the regret faded. But as she left, stepping into the neon lit street, there he was, the beggar, sitting on the curb, his eyes locked on hers. You cannot run from your blood, he croaked. Anita's blood ran cold. She fled home, barricading herself in. That night, the dreams intensified. She saw visions of her ancestors in a village, performing rituals under a full moon. The beggar was there, young and strong, betrayed by someone who looked eerily like her. Waking up, she Googled curses in Nigerian folklore. Pages of stories flooded her screen. Yoruba tales of spirits seeking justice, Igbo legends of reincarnated souls. Was this real, or was guilt driving her mad? Driven by desperation, Anita confided in her mother over the phone. Mrs. Okoro, a devout Christian living back in Benin, gasped, Anita, my daughter, what have you done? That sounds like Baba Agba, the wandering elder from our family stories. Her mother revealed fragments of the past. Their family had a dark secret. Generations ago, an ancestor had wronged a powerful herbalist, leading to a curse that manifested as a beggar spirit, testing the kindness of descendants. If failed, it brought misfortune until amends were made. Anita laughed it off at first. Superstition in 2026, with AI and electric cars zipping around Lagos, but the evidence mounted. Her promotion fell through inexplicably. Tunde ghosted her, and worst, she fell ill with a mysterious fever. Doctors at Lagos University Teaching Hospital couldn't diagnose it. Stress, they said, but Anita knew better. As Anita's fever raged, she delved deeper into her family's history. Confined to her bed, surrounded by bottles of Lucozade and paracetamol, she called her aunt in Abuja. Aunt Ngozi, the family historian, spilled more beans. Your grandfather wasn't just a farmer, child. He was a dibia, a traditional healer. He helped many, but one day he turned away a beggar who was actually a disguised spirit. The spirit cursed our line. Every generation, one member would face the test, fail, and suffer until they right the wrong. Anita's mind reeled. Was she the chosen one? The symptoms worsened. Hallucinations of the beggar in her mirror, whispering accusations. Esther visited, bringing pounded yam and egusi soup. You need to see a pastor, she urged. But Anita, torn between faith and folklore, decided to seek out a Babalawo, a Yoruba diviner, in the outskirts of Lagos. The journey to Ikorodu was arduous. Lagos traffic was a beast, with go-slow stretching for hours. Anita, weak but determined, boarded a Molu bus, its sides painted with biblical verses. The diviner Baba Ogunle lived in a modest compound adorned with cowrie shells and herbs. He was an elderly man with a white beard, clad in traditional attire. After consulting the Ifa oracle, tossing sacred nuts and chanting, he nodded gravely. The beggar is your ancestor's victim reborn. You must find him, apologize sincerely, and perform a rite of atonement. Fail, and the curse will consume you. Anita left with a pouch of herbs and instructions, but finding the beggar in a city of 20 million? Impossible. She scoured the streets of Ikeja, asking vendors and beggars alike, "Have you seen an old man with milky eyes?" Most shook their heads, but one street boy, polishing shoes, pointed her to Oshodi Market. "I see him there sometimes, auntie." Oshodi was a labyrinth of stalls, selling everything from fake designer bags to fresh fish. The air was thick with the aroma of akara frying and the shouts of traders. Anita wandered for hours, her feet aching in her flats. Just as dusk fell, she spotted him, sitting by a gutter, munching on a piece of bread someone had tossed. Heart racing, she approached. "Sir, I'm sorry for what I did. Please forgive me." The beggar looked up, his eyes clearing for a moment. "Words are wind, child. Actions speak." Then he vanished into the crowd, leaving Anita stunned. That night her fever broke slightly, but the dreams persisted, now showing her grandfather's betrayal in vivid detail. He had slapped the spirit beggar, denying him aid during a famine, leading to the spirit's death. The curse was born from that slap, echoing through time. Anita's life unraveled further. Her job hung by a thread after missing deadlines. Friends distanced themselves, thinking she was losing it. Only Esther stuck around, helping with errands. "We're in this together," she said, hugging Anita. In a moment of vulnerability, Anita shared the full story. Esther, skeptical but supportive, suggested researching online forums for similar tales. They found threads on Naira about beggar curses in Nigerian urban legends, stories of people haunted after mistreating the homeless, only resolved through charity or rituals. Inspired, Anita started volunteering at a soup kitchen in Yaba. Serving meals to the less fortunate, she felt a glimmer of peace. One day, a young mother named Kioma shared her own story. "I once ignored a beggar and bad luck followed. I gave back and it stopped." Anita nodded, tears welling. Was this the path to redemption? But the beggar appeared again, this time in her dreams, demanding more. "Find the root," he whispered. Digging into family archives, old photos and letters her mother sent via DHL, Anita discovered a hidden journal from her grandfather. In faded ink, he confessed his regret, mentioning a sacred grove in Benin where the curse originated. "I must go home," Anita realized. Packing a small bag with essentials, clothes, the herbal pouch, and her grandfather's journal, Anita boarded a bus to Benin. The 300-kilometer trip was bumpy, passing through lush farmlands and toll gates. She listened to podcasts on Nigerian mythology, learning about spirits like Mami Wata and ancestral guardians. "Folk tales aren't just stories," one episode said. "They're warnings wrapped in entertainment." Arriving in Benin, the city of her childhood, felt nostalgic. The red soil, the aroma of bowl roasting, the vibrant Edo architecture all stirred memories. Her mother welcomed her with open arms and a feast of eba and edikang ikong soup. "You've lost weight, my dear," Mrs. Okoro fussed. Over dinner, they pored over the journal. "Your grandfather tried to break the curse but died before he could," her mother revealed. "He left clues about the grove near Uselu." The next day, with her cousin Emeka, a sturdy mechanic, Anita ventured to the grove. It was hidden in a forest preserve, overgrown with vines and echoing with bird calls. They hacked through underbrush, Emeka wielding a machete. "This place gives me chills," he admitted. At the center stood an ancient baobab tree, its trunk carved with symbols. Beneath it, a small altar with faded offerings. As Anita knelt, reciting prayers from the journal, a wind whipped up. The beggar materialized not as a frail old man, but as a ethereal figure in white. "You seek forgiveness?" he boomed. Terrified yet resolute, Anita nodded. "I regret my actions. Teach me how to atone." The spirit revealed his name, Osaro, a healer betrayed by her ancestor. "To break the cycle, perform acts of kindness equal to the harm caused. Start with helping those I represent, the forgotten." Waking from what felt like a trance, Anita found Emeka shaking her. "You zoned out, cuz." But she felt changed, a weight lifting. Back in Benin, She organized a community drive, collecting clothes and food for beggars. Word spread, and locals joined, turning it into a mini festival with music and dancing. For the first time in weeks, Anita laughed genuinely. Yet the curse wasn't fully broken. Returning to Lagos, she faced new trials. Her apartment flooded from a burst pipe, symbolizing unresolved emotions. Esther helped clean up, and they bonded over late night talks. Life's like a Nollywood movie, Esther joked. Drama, twists, and hopefully a happy ending. Anita threw herself into charity work, partnering with NGOs like the Red Cross. She spoke at events, sharing her story, anonymized as a folktale come to life. People listened, moved by her emotion. One attendee, a journalist named Kemi, interviewed her for a blog. Your tale could inspire many, Kemi said, but Osaro appeared in visions, urging more. Confront the source, your family's silence. Anita called a family meeting via Zoom, relatives from across Nigeria joining. She revealed everything, tears flowing. We can't ignore our past. Her uncle admitted, we knew but feared stigma. The family pledged to honor their heritage, blending tradition with modernity. As Anita's efforts gained momentum, she started a small foundation, Shadows of Kindness, aiding the homeless in Lagos. Donations trickled in and volunteers signed up. One evening, at a fundraising event in Lekki, with Afrobeat playing and guests mingling, Anita took the stage. Her voice trembled with emotion. This journey began with a slap, a moment of weakness, but it's taught me that kindness is our greatest strength. In the city of dreams and struggles, let's not forget the shadows among us. The crowd applauded, touched by her raw honesty. Then, spotting Osaro in the back, now smiling faintly, Anita felt a surge of hope. After the speech, she mingled, her heart full. Hey, if you're enjoying this tale so far, hit that subscribe button for more stories like this. And drop a comment. Where are you watching from? Lagos, Abuja, or somewhere across the globe? Your support keeps the magic alive. Back to the story. That night, Osaro visited in a dream, not as a beggar, but as a guide. You've begun well, but the test deepens. Face betrayal from within. Waking, Anita pondered. Betrayal from who? It came soon. Esther, her rock, confessed over drinks. I I was jealous of your success. When you got that deal, I sabotaged your presentation files. Shocked, Anita felt the slap of betrayal, echoing her own act. Tears streamed as they talked. Why? Insecurity, Esther admitted. Forgiving her friend was hard, but Anita remembered Osaro's words. We all have shadows. Let's heal together. Their friendship strengthened, turning pain into growth. Work rebounded. Her boss, impressed by her resilience, promoted her. Tunde reappeared, apologizing for ghosting. I got scared, he said. They dated cautiously, adding romance to her life. But the curse lingered subtly, minor mishaps like lost wallets or delayed flights. Anita realized atonement was ongoing. She traveled to other cities, Abuja, Port Harcourt, spreading her message. In Abuja, she met a senator who pledged funding for shelters. In PH, she danced at a cultural festival, blending her story with local folklore. One dramatic night in Lagos, during a thunderstorm, Osaro appeared in person. The final rite, return to the grove with an offering of your regret. Anita, with Esther and Tunde, journeyed back to Benin. At the Baobab, she buried a letter of apology, planted a tree, and chanted incantations. Lightning flashed, and Osaro dissolved into light. You are free. Freed from the curse, Anita's life blossomed. Her foundation grew, opening a shelter in Ikeja. Media covered her. Channels TV called her the kindness warrior. She authored a book, Shadows and Slaps, a modern folk tale, blending her experience with Nigerian lore. Sales soared, inspiring readers. Personally, she and Tunde got engaged in an intimate ceremony with family and friends. Toasting with palm wine. Esther was maid of honor, their bond unbreakable. Anita's mother moved to Lagos, helping with the shelter. But folktales teach vigilance, shadows can return. Anita stayed humble, volunteering weekly. She mentored young women, sharing lessons on empathy. One day, spotting a beggar, she didn't hesitate, offered food and a smile. No regret this time, only gratitude. Years passed, but the story evolved. Anita's daughter, born in 2030, heard the tale as bedtime stories. Mama, is Osaro real? Little Ife asked. In our hearts, yes, Anita replied. The foundation expanded nationwide, partnering with government for anti-poverty programs. Anita spoke at TEDx Lagos, her talk viral. One slap changed my life. Let kindness change yours. Challenges came. A funding scandal from a corrupt partner. Anita, dramatic and emotional, confronted him publicly. You betrayed the forgotten. Justice prevailed, strengthening her resolve. Entertaining. Anecdotes filled her days. A comedy skit at the shelter went viral, showing beggars as superheroes. Laughter healed. Just when peace settled, a new beggar appeared, younger, but with Osaro's eyes. The curse adapts, he said. Anita, now wiser, mentored him, uncovering he was a distant relative. Together they broke lingering ties. Emotional reunions with the strange family followed, tears and hugs mending old wounds. Anita's story went international. Invited to New York for a UN conference on poverty, she shared her folk tale. In Nigeria, spirits remind us of humanity. Applause echoed. Back home, she faced a health scare, echo of the fever, but with support she recovered, more appreciative. Tunde's job took him abroad, testing their love. Dramatic arguments ensued, but they reconciled stronger. Loss hit when her mother passed. Grieving, Anita honored her with a memorial grove, planting trees for the future. The shelter became a community hub. Classes, jobs, arts, entertaining events like talent shows brought joy. Anita won awards but stayed grounded, remembering the slap. Aging gracefully, Anita reflected on her journey. Regret is a teacher, she wrote in her memoir. Subplots wove in, helping a young beggar become a doctor, inspiring a chain of kindness. I've, now grown, faced her own test but passed, thanks to Anita's guidance. The family curse ended. Celebrations ensued, a grand festival in Lagos, blending tradition and modernity. In her twilight years, Anita sat under a tree telling stories. One act can change everything. Choose kindness. The tale lived on, dramatic, emotional, entertaining.